Hey y'all, it's Savannah and this is Savannah Says. So I'm here to talk about a recent read, Twisted Games by Anna Huang, which is the second book in the Twisted Love series thing. Immediately following Twisted Love, I think it's called, which I read a couple months ago. Just gonna start it off by saying this book was not good. I thought it was gonna be good and I was expecting it to be good, but it was not. And yeah, let's get into why it was not. So first of all, if you have not seen my review of Twisted Love, I'll just link it like on the screen up here, and we're just gonna do a quick recap. Okay, Twisted Love was a sister's brother's best friend romance where the sister and the best friend get together, but it wasn't really a romance, it was a murder mystery. And one of the friends that was involved in the psychotic end plot was one of the best friends named Bridget. So Bridget is a princess to this small European country called Elvora, some shit like that. At the end of Twisted Love, it's revealed that she's going to become the queen. Okay, and so her book, Twisted Games, is just pretty much everything leading up to her becoming queen, which would be fine and would have no issues with that. But this book was, it was like better than the first one, but also worse than the first one. And I'm going to try to go through the plot of the book in the best way that I can before talking about why I didn't like it. The plot of this book is hard to recount because this story suffers from a lot of time jumps. There's a lot of time jumps, very heavy-handed with the time jumps, and it's so many of them to the point where I can't even really tell you the amount of time that has passed in the story. Like, the story starts when Bridget's in college. I think it's her junior year, and then like 2 chapters later, college is done. Then there's like a year passes. Then like it'll be 2 weeks, 6 months, 4 days, 1 week, 1 year. Like, I really have zero clue how much time passes in this book. So if the events don't seem like they're making sense, just know that I'm also confused with you. So this book starts off with Bridget getting rid of her old bodyguard who's going on like paternal leave or something. His wife's pregnant. And she gets a new bodyguard named Reese. And Reese is like, obviously he's like 6'5". He's got an eyebrow scar. He's got long hair, which I don't really think makes sense as a bodyguard. Your hair can be easily pulled. Why is it long? But whatever. And so after she gets this new bodyguard, she gets kidnapped because she's a part of Ava and Alex's bullshit from the first book. She gets kidnapped, almost killed. And Reese is very much like you need to do what I say at all times when I say it, no questions asked kind of person, which Bridget thinks is hot. Of course she does. So they just sort of, she tries to do things by breaking the rules and he's not with it. And that's pretty much how their relationship goes. In this book, we discover that like her grandfather's gotten sick, right? So she has to go back home to Eldora, which if you've ever seen The Princess Diaries, it's like a Genovia situation. Like I think in the book, this country is like between France and something. I don't know. It's a small country, which later adds to the disbelief, but it's a very small country. So she used to go home. Her grandpa's got sick. I think he had a heart attack or something. And so she gets there. She brings Reese with her because he is her bodyguard. And when she's there, her older brother basically tells her, hey, like, I fell in love with an American. I'm going to abdicate the throne, which to me is kind of fucked up because he wants to abdicate in order to like find true love, but he's basically condemning her to a life of having to be queen when neither of them wants to be royalty. And I get that that's how things work over there, but I was a little pissed on her behalf because in order for her to become queen, she has to be married. She has to be married, and she has to be married to a royal, of course, because where's the drama if the guy's not royal? So already you're thinking, okay, there's going to be like a forced marriage plot, blah, 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 blah. There should have been. There was not, but there should have been. So it's revealed that she's to get married and all this shit. So she goes back home to America to like wrap up her affairs or whatever. And she's basically like, before I go to Eldora and become the queen in training, I want to take a vacation just to a place where no one knows me. No one knows who I am, what I'm about, what I'm doing, just so I can like be me. And Reese is like, okay, I'll take you on a vacation. So they go to Costa Rica, and Bridget has like a bucket list of things that she wants to do before she becomes queen. And one of them is have an orgasm, which, all right, girl, she wants to have an orgasm. And of course, because it's Reese's job to please her, he gives her the orgasm. Like, it's evident that they both think the other person is hot. Like Bridget has always thought that Reese was hot, and Reese thinks she's hot as well, but because she's his client, he can't like do anything. Well, he could if he wanted to, I guess, but he decides that it's in his best interest to not get sexually, romantically involved with his employer, which I agree with. They're in Costa Rica and she's like, hey, I want to have an orgasm and I want you to give it to me. And he agrees. So there's no P and V, but there is a variety of sex that happens. And you know, this is like, at this point, we've time jumped to hell and back. And this is like, I don't know, 100 pages into this book, which this book is almost 500 pages long, but so at this point, you're a good like quarter of the way through. You're like, okay, they're just making out. I'm like, okay, slow burn, great. We know going into it that they're going to be together because it is a bodyguard romance. So I'm not really shocked that they're together, but it happens, you know, at a good point in the book. You're like, okay, great. We can continue to build the suspense. So they go to Eldora after their Costa Rica trip that they never speak about again because, you know, no one can know that we did this or I will lose my job. You'll, I guess, have consequences as a royal. Like, no one can know that we did this. So they go to Eldora and she's told that she has to like have this ball to like court suitors from like other countries. And she's also told that her slimeball cousin is coming to the palace to like stay. And she wants to know why he's coming. His name is Andre, whatever the fuck his name is, Andreas. And he's coming, and Bridget wants to know why is he coming, because she doesn't like him. She's never liked him. And it's revealed that like he's the third in line for the throne. So basically he's coming to undermine her, or I guess work against her to prove that she's unfit to rule, which he's not wrong. She's not unfit. She's not fit to rule because she's never once trained for this position, but now all of a sudden she is. So he becomes important later in the story, but for most of the book, he's just kind of annoying. He's kind of always like indicating that he knows that she's doing dirt that he's gonna like blackmail her with. So you're not supposed to like him. So they go to this ball, time jump again. They go to this ball. She meets this guy named Stefan, who's the prince of some country, and they agree to go on a date. Reese is butthurt. Well, actually, let me rewind. So after Costa Rica, basically Reese is like, okay, you're going back to Eldora. Like, you're going to need a new bodyguard because you're going to be the queen. Like, I can't be your bodyguard anymore. So Bridget offers him the chance to like stay with her and like extend his contract, or he can just quit. And he chooses to quit. We time jump. I want to say it's at least a month. It's over a month. We time jump and she's in Eldora and she's basically told that she has to hold this ball to like court princes or whatever. And she is also told that her slimy cousin Andreas is coming to, I guess, study politics, because it's revealed that he's the third in line for the throne. And because this country has not had a female monarch in like a century or something, people don't think she's fit to rule, which is not wrong. She's not fit to rule. She doesn't know anything about the country. She's not been living there for pretty much the majority of her life. And you're not supposed to like him because you're supposed to think that he is just basically trying to take the throne from her, which I don't know why that's a bad thing, but you're not supposed to like him, but he becomes important later on. So after this is revealed, it's also revealed through like Reese's POV that he requested to come back to Eldora to be her bodyguard because he couldn't be away from her. He's in love with her. He hasn't told her he's in love with her, but he couldn't be away from her. So he comes back. They have a little incident in the hallway where they don't kiss, but it's definitely like they're eye fucking. And Andreas is like, what are y'all doing? And, you know, this begins the cycle of them just not being discreet at all. You know, for someone who doesn't want to be caught, Bridget does a lot of sexual things in public. She goes on a date with the Stefan guy, and then Reese is like threatening him, like eavesdropping, like just being generally off-putting to make this guy not want to date her. Weird. Every time she talks to a guy that's not Reese, he gets really weirdly possessive, but he's her bodyguard, so that's fucking weird. They start taking trips together, but the trips are basically like explained away as like, oh, I'm taking a spa day, I'm taking a day off or whatever, but they just like go fuck in random spots. And I'm like, y'all really want to get caught, right? Like, I don't know if just because I've just reached a point where like I've read so much smut that to me it's just like, what are you doing? It's not hot. I don't think public sex is hot. I don't want to do that. And I guess I can't project what I want to do onto the book characters, but to me, I don't know what's hot and sexy about like doing it in a place where everybody's going to know our business. But we time jump some more, and basically at this point, I don't know what, like a year's passed. When I say the plot is so hard to explain because there's so many time jumps, it's like a slice of life day-to-day plot, but with a time jump on every other page. So it's hard to like detail specific events. Like this is not like the first one where there's like an actual plot. The plot of this is just her becoming queen, basically. Her brother, the one who abdicated and married his American girlfriend, is getting married, and he's getting married in California. I'm not sure why they're always in America when they're European and they're European monarchs, but okay. They're getting married in like California or something. And so they're at this wedding, and they sneak off during the reception, and they go to this like this unfinished room in the castle, wherever they're at. And obviously they fuck, right? They fuck. And but this time, the next day, Bridget gets like an email with like a video of them fucking, basically saying like, you need to break this off or I'm gonna expose you. So she's being blackmailed, which I can't even feel bad for her because she is not being discreet. This entire time, she's just been like doing it in public. So I'm like, what did you think was gonna happen, sis? Instead of like telling Reese that she got a video about this, we time jump again to them fucking some more. And this time they're like on the outskirts of town in like this hotel. And as they're leaving the hotel, she bumps into her royal boyfriend who's leaving with his girlfriend. So I'm like, okay, y'all both have significant others on the side, which is fine. We knew that this was not going to be a marriage of love. And basically, they both just can't tell, like, they're not going to tell on each other because they both have, like, girlfriends, boyfriends. But Stefan is, what's the word? Rightfully concerned that she's with her bodyguard at this weird hotel at this random time of day. Like, are you sleeping with him? Like, before I get into, like, at this point, this is, like, we've passed 50% of this book. Nothing has really happened. We're halfway done. And so we finally start to find out more about Reese and why he is so like secretive all the time. And he basically just says that he had a troubled childhood, which they always do. His mom was really abusive. She did not treat him right. She was an alcoholic. She used to hit, like, she was physically abusive to him, and she was an alcoholic. And the reason why she was an alcoholic, and the reason why when Bridget asked him the first time if he wanted to come back to the country with her, it's revealed that like he hates Eldora because his father is Eldoran, and his dad basically abandoned his mother while she was pregnant after promising her like this life of, I guess, happiness together, and that made her bitter, and she took it out on him because I guess he reminded her of the dad. It's really never explained beyond that. And then he also, reveals that like he had a mission because he's an ex-Navy SEAL. He had this mission where he was trying to kill terrorists with the Eldoran government, which why would the US be, like, I know why the US will be trying to kill terrorists because that's all they want to fucking do, kill terrorists. I don't know why the US would be killing terrorists with this tiny country in between like France and like Spain. Who's terrorizing a country that small? I don't really understand. I don't know why they'd be on a top secret mission to do that together, but apparently they were. And one of the Eldoran guards gave away their position, and basically everybody died. And so for those two reasons, he never wanted to be there, but now he's here because he loves her, cute or whatever. Now we've come to the 75% mark of this book. What time period we are in now, I do not know. I don't know what month it is. I don't know what year it is. They've time jumped so many years at this point. The tabloids leaked that Bridget and Reese are dating in private, and her grandpa's like, you got to break up with him. Like, you can't be doing this. You're about to run for queen. You, people already don't take you seriously, so you can't be having any scandals. She has to break up with Reese, but not after fucking one more time. This news, like, basically makes her grandfather have a heart attack again. She feels guilt over that, and so she's basically like, I gotta break up with you. Like, we can't do this anymore. So he leaves. And here is where the book, to me, it was boring to begin with. Like, and I don't know if I thought it was boring because I'm just used to like Crazy Train plot lines, and it just was too normal for me to like give a fuck. But at this point, the 75% mark, the book really takes a turn into why would you write this? Reese is getting drunk in his hotel room because his visa's expiring soon. He's gonna go back to the US and do whatever he does. And his old Navy SEAL guy friend who like runs the bodyguard business that he works for, I guess, comes to him with like this file, and he's like, hey, you should know the stuff that's in this file. Like, you should know this. Unprompted, gives him this like flash drive file thing. And so he's reading through this file, and before I talk about the file, there is this one character who I have not mentioned because I don't remember his name, but he's like the head of parliament or whatever, like the main parliament guy. And he's got a hate boner for Bridget. He does not want her to be queen. He tries to undermine her at every turn. And he's just like a general asshole. And he's pretty much working against her to just make sure she does not become the queen. So this guy, what's his name? Like Airhall or something. In this file, it's revealed that Reese's father is the parliament guy, which, okay, that's a reach. That's a stretch, but we can believe it. What we cannot believe is that his half-brother is Bridget's cousin, Andreas. How does that make sense? Because if her cousin is third in line for the throne, that would make Reese royal, but he's not royal. And he's not royal because Andreas's mother, who I think they get the royalty through their father, maybe? I'm not really sure. But Andreas's mother cheats on his royal father with Parliament guy, who is a known asshole because at this point he's got how many kids? She cheats on her royal husband with this guy, gets pregnant, he dumps her. I guess dumps her in the only way that you can be dumped when you're already married and have a whole husband. He dumps her. She gives birth to Andreas, passes him off as the royal guy's dad, or the royal guy's son. And then when she dies, she tells the dad, the royal dad, that Andreas is not really his kid. And they still don't tell Andreas this. But then once the dad dies, he, like on his deathbed, then he reveals, oh, like, you're not actually my son. Like, your mom cheated on me. And I guess I just raised you anyway. Like, first of all, why are all these moms cheating? And second of all, why would you be cheating on your husband with this man from Parliament? Like, it really makes no sense to me. That's revealed. And then like Andreas, like he goes to tell Andreas this, but Andreas already knows, which is why apparently he's been so weird. He's been trying to help Reese and Bridget get together the whole book, even though the whole book he's been low-key blackmailing them. Doesn't make sense. But he wants them to be together because he doesn't want anyone to find out that he's not really royal, which, okay, but like, why am I supposed to care about this guy who's been a dick the whole book? Actually, he's not even really been a dick. He's been weird, but he's not even in it enough to like me definitively say he was an asshole. Like, he's barely fucking in the story. So that happens. Then Bridget's trying to repeal this, like, you must marry a royal law, which has been a law since like the 1700s. And I guess she's like, it's antiquated. We don't need that anymore, which she's right. It's antiquated. They don't need it anymore. In order to break this law, she comes up with the idea to blackmail Parliament. And so in order to blackmail them, she calls Alex from the first book, was he Russian? Did I make that up? Was he Russian? I don't remember. But he's in charge. He's like the CEO of this Fortune 500 company. And I guess that means he's got access to the black web. He digs up dirt on every member of Parliament and gives her this giant file. And he's like, okay, my debt's been paid. I don't know what kind of debt he really owed her because nothing about his story had anything to do with her. But he's like, my debt's been paid. Here's all the dirt you need to know. Do with that what you will. So she reads the file. He basically tells her to read the file of the main guy first. And that's how she finds out that Reese is also related to her cousin, and they're both the sons of the Parliament guy. So then her and Reese come up with this plan together to blackmail this guy, because unless he brings the motion forward, like, Parliament won't be able to vote on it. So he brings the motion forward, they repeal the law, and then they get together, and then like they time jump some more and they get married. This book was not good. It was not good, and it wasn't good because it was just boring, right? Like, the plot was so just average. And it's hard to even talk about the plot because, again, there's so many fucking time jumps. Like, I don't even know how much time has passed, and there's so many time jumps that it just like ruins the flow of the story that was already boring to begin with. One of the things that I think romance authors need to stop doing, your book does not need to be over 400 pages. And I honestly think 350 is probably the sweet spot, because if you kiss on page 100, you have another 250 to get through the drama. In this book, there was no drama until literally 75% of the way through, which means that the last 25% was even more time jumps to make up for all the lack of drama that happened in the first like 3/4 of the book. Like, I don't understand why, if we already knew it was going to be a happily ever after, I'm waiting the whole book for them to get caught. They don't get caught till the very end, until it's like, okay, what is the point? Like, I don't know. I don't know what I was expecting. I was expecting Crazy Train. I was expecting a murder plot. And, maybe as much as I complained about the murder plots in the first book, at least it was interesting. At least I was like, what? Like, I was screaming out loud. I was like invested, as much as you can be invested in that, because it was so ridiculous that I was like, I have to know what happens. But this one, I really don't care. It was just boring. Nothing was really happening. Slice of life, day to day, time jumps. I was fucking confused. Once they start having the sex, it was just the dirty talk to me. Again, I don't know if I've just become so desensitized to dirty talk that like it doesn't do anything for me anymore. Like, I don't think it's hot. I just think it's mostly weird. Like, there's a lot of weird dirty talk stuff. Like, there was one part where he was like, oh yeah, like, keep your heels on. She had on like gloves because she was like at some event. He was like, yeah, keep your gloves on, keep your heels on, and crawl across the floor to me. And then in one, he like called her like a whore. I'm like, I don't know. I don't want to be called a whore. If that's what you're into, Bridget, I'm happy for you, I guess. But to me personally, I don't want to be called a whore. So I'm not really sure why that's being written. And it was just like a lot of weird, dirty talk. And again, it was just boring. And so, as much as I wanted to know, I wish that I just would have left it alone, because I'm even more irritated because this one wasn't even exciting enough to like, I don't even feel like I had anything good to say because it was just not exciting, right? And so for sure, I will not be reading the next two. There's two more, and it's about friends who are not even really in the book to begin with. They were in none of the books, really. Yeah, I just don't care. I don't care, and I think I'm done with this. It was a good ride, I suppose. I'm glad I read it because now I know, but I wouldn't recommend this. And usually the worst part about this whole event is that usually bodyguard romances are always hot. They're always hot. They're always secret. It's always like secret lover type shit. It's always good. And the fact that you could make a bodyguard romance boring, I don't know. I don't know what that says about you. Like, the writing was not bad. It was just boring. So if you like this book, tell me why in the comments below. I always want to know why people like things. I read all the reviews. If you didn't like it, if you agree with me and thought it was boring, let me know that too. And yeah, like, subscribe, comment below, and I'll see y'all next time.